Hey, what's going on out there? I would like to welcome every single one of you to Water Your Soil. So before I get into this video, I would like to say, if you're new around here, I have two rules over at this channel. The first rule is for you to always use your own discretion when it comes to credit cards and credit scores. The second rule, that's for you to verify everything that you learn, whether it's here on this channel, another channel, or anywhere. That should be a rule of life. So getting into the video. This is one of my favorite type of videos to make, and it takes me back to the essence of why I started helping people with credit cards and understanding how to use them and how they work in regard to your credit score, how to build up your credit score, what to do to increase your credit score, what to do to avoid your credit score decreasing, and how to maintain your credit score, whether it's FICO, Vantage, no matter what. The principles apply across the board. And in this video, I'm going to talk about credit card utilization. And one of the reasons why I love talking about credit card utilization, because it's a big deal. And a lot of you think that it may not be a big deal, but it is a big deal because it accounts towards your credit score. Whether some people want to admit it or not, that's what it does. Now I have a video explaining what credit card utilization is, and I explain it at a grade school level. So I'm gonna leave that video at the end of this video, so you'll be able to simply click on it and it will take you to that video. So you want to stay to the end of this video if you do want to watch that video of credit card utilization explained. It's a great video. It breaks it down because I know some of you out there, you really probably are trying to understand what credit card utilization is. Maybe you heard it somewhere and you're like, hey, I really want to know how it works. Well, that video is going to help you with that. But this video is not going to be explaining how credit card utilization works. This video is going to be talking about the importance of it and how it's often disregarded and threw to the side. And then people wonder why their credit scores aren't where they want them to be. So one of the first things when it comes to me helping people and they come to me, I always tell them like, hey, what credit score range are you aiming for? Because that's important. Now, some of you may ask, hey, what qualifies you to talk about this? Well, all of my three major credit scores are in the 800s all across the board. That's with Experian, with Equifax, and with TransUnion. They're all in the 800s, and they have been for a while now. Do I know everything about credit cards and credit scores? No, I do not. I never claimed to. However, I do like to share the information that helped me achieve those credit scores because I was once someone with poor credit. So credit card utilization played a big role in me achieving an excellent credit score. And I started off just like some of you where I was wondering what my credit card utilization should be. Should it be 30%? Should it be 20? Should it be 10? Should it be 0? Because I often heard people say 0. And then you'll come across some people who say they use the all 0 except one card method. And that's basically where you report a 0 balance on all of your cards except for one. And that method works for some people. But one of the reasons why I ask people what score they're aiming for is because it's going to play a big role into what you're aiming to have your credit card utilization at. I always tell people, credit card utilization is a case-by-case thing, meaning a lot of it is dependent on your credit report. Now, you don't want to have a high utilization, and the reason why you don't want to have a high utilization, contrary to what some people believe, is because it makes you seem more riskier to the scoring models, especially FICO. It makes you seem like a riskier borrower, and it makes you seem like you're desperate for money. You're overextending yourself. So you don't want to give off that perception. What you want to do is give off the perception that you're capable of managing the credit limits that you have, you're not overspending with them, and you're able to pay them off. So that usually lands people between that 10% and 0 range, anywhere in between there. That's usually a safe spot for me. Mine is usually anywhere between 5% and 0. I usually have it in there reporting on a monthly basis for majority of my cards, if not all of my cards on a month-to-month basis. So I always tell people what you need to do is do a test. And some of you may want to do it. Some of you may not want to do it because you're like, hey, my credit score is important. I don't want to be playing around with my credit score. But it's always wise to do a test. And that's what I like to do. I like to test out my credit card utilization. So when it came to me finding a stable utilization that worked for me What I did is I would test out my balances every month. Sometimes I'll report a 6% utilization. Sometimes I'll do 7. When I first started out with my secured credit cards, I reported a 10% every month. And I saw what the results of my credit score was with that. But I'll be honest with you all, when I decided to decrease my credit card utilization from 10% to around 5%, it showed up big time in my credit score. My credit score started to drastically increase. Now, it could have been other factors like my credit age and my accounts being open longer, because previously they were secured credit cards that graduated. So after they graduated is when I dropped my utilization from reporting at 10% to 5%. And of course, my credit limits increased shortly after my cards graduated, so I was able to lower my utilization as a result. But once I cut my utilization down to 5%, I saw a drastic increase. And like I stated, it could have been my credit age, it could have been other factors, but I did see that increase. And then once I dropped it below 5%, I really started seeing a lot of increases. So in order for you to find out what credit card utilization works for you, you have to test it out. I always say the lower, the better, meaning the lower you have your credit cards reporting in regard to utilization is usually the better for your score, but there's only one way to find that out. The only way to find out what credit card utilization works for you is for you to test it out and for you to see what your score indicates. Now, this is going to take months. This is not something that you could do over the span of 1 or 2 months, because if you're testing it out, you need to see how your credit score is reacting to the utilization. Now, to keep things safe, I always kept it under 10% just to keep things safe. You don't want to test things out when it's like 30% or 40% or 50%. As I stated, the higher that utilization is in regard to your credit card reporting its balances and how much of your credit limit you're using, the more desperate you look. So the higher it is, the more desperate you look. If you're up there getting close to maxing out your card every month and you're carrying over balances, your utilization is more than likely high, probably in the 80s or the 90s. And for some of you, it could be higher than 90, which is a very unfortunate thing, because people often, they'll come to me and they'll say, hey, my credit score is suffering. Why is my credit score low? Why did my credit score drop? I asked them what's going on with their credit report, and they have credit card balances that are close to maxed out, and they're basically carrying over balances, not only getting interest on it, but they're literally carrying over balances on a card that's close to maxed out. So of course your credit score is going to suffer under those circumstances. And if you're watching this and you're in that predicament, the one thing that I will say is you need to pay down your balance. However you could pay it down, make sure that you find a way to pay down that balance, because that high balance is hurting your score. I could almost guarantee that's a problem for your credit score. I don't know what else is on your credit report, but I can almost guarantee if you have a high utilization above 80 or 90% and you're carrying over balances, I can almost guarantee that is what's hurting your credit score. So you want to make sure that you are watching your utilization. For those of you who are not in that predicament, make sure that you are testing out your utilization on a month-to-month basis to see what works for you. And then you'll reach a comfort zone where you know what you can report your credit cards as on a month-to-month basis. If it's the all zero except one method that works for you, then so be it. But that method may not work for everyone, because as I stated, everyone's credit report is different. Everyone has different credit limits. And of course, everyone has different things on their credit report. But I wanted to talk about this because it's always this question, hey, should my utilization be 20%, 30%, 10%? What should it be? You will only be able to determine the answer to that. And you'll have to use your credit score on a month-to-month basis as an indicator as to what utilization works for you. That's the way how I did it, and it worked for me. And now I know which utilization works for me and which utilization percentage to not go above. Long as I'm in a certain range, for me, that range is usually between 10% and 2%. Once I'm in that range, I usually get optimal results with my credit score. And the same could possibly work for you, but you only will know if you test it out. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to do, nor am I trying to tell you what to do, but I'm telling you what worked for me and what also worked for countless amounts of other people. And the results have been favorable for me, but in regards to you, It's only one way to find out. But anyways, while you're here, I have a poll on this channel, an active poll currently that I want you all to participate in. The way you do so is you click on my profile picture. It's going to take you to the homepage of this channel. Once you're on the homepage, you're going to see a section that says post. You click on that post section, it will show you my latest poll as well as my previous poll. Be sure to participate in all of them. But anyways, to all of you, if you're new here and you're feeling the vibe, this is Water Your Soil. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on all notifications, that way you don't miss a future video because I post often. That's clicking on the bell and selecting all. Also, this goes to every single one of you, especially my subscribers. Be sure to hit the like button. It literally takes 1 second. It lets the algorithm know you support this video and this channel. This is Water Your Soil. I appreciate all of you for stopping by, leaving comments, hitting the like button, sharing my videos. Hey, if you want to watch that video on credit card utilization explained, it's going to show right now. This is Water Your Soil, and I'm out. Hey, what's going on? This is Nell from Water Your Soil. So as someone who went from a 549 credit score all the way up to the 800s, I decided to share the same information that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. This book is titled Strategies to Master Credit. I put everything in this book, everything that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. All of the information is in this book. So I want you all to purchase this book. A lot of you have already purchased it, but it's available currently right now on Amazon.com and also MasterCreditBook.com. It's titled Strategies to Master Credit. You want this book. It has all the information needed in order for you to go from poor credit to excellent credit, or just simply maintain your good or excellent credit score. So get the book ASAP. And if you want something more in depth, you could take the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. It's more in depth. There are actually chapters in this course, and it walks you through basically how FICO credit scores come about and how they're determined. And really, once you learn how FICO scores come about and the concept of credit scores, then you're pretty much on your way to either going from poor credit to good credit, or just maintaining a good or excellent credit score. So if you want something more in depth, I have the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. All right.